a lot of disparity going on because of the fact that Nigeria is going to be celebrating its 100th centenary anniversary, and they feel that it's not quite, they don't feel what Jim O'Neill is saying because of the 169 million in population we have, about 49% of that are still living under poverty levels. So I'd like to hear your views on that. If you can tweet me, my Twitter handle is @GailNgozi, or of course you can tweet K-Zone, which is @Ogundamisi, and let us know what you think. And moving on, my next news, I don't know if you've heard about this, Kay, basket mouth.
Yeah, much about basket mouth.
Yes. You know, I mean, how insensitive can you be? Twitter has been going abuzz, it's been going crazy about the fact that Basket Mouth, who is the one of Nigerians' well-known and loved comedians, has created chaos and uproar on Twitter by tweeting a joke about the difference between dating a white girl and a black girl. And in the joke, he's made references to rape, which of course has caused him to be under fire by quite a lot of Nigerians as well as African tweeters. And he's been accused, of course, of being one of those comedians who use rape, as women's rape in this case, as a butt of joke in all his comedy stand-up shows. He's actually come under fire so much that his fans are saying they're going to boycott him, because I think he has a show soon in London, and they're going to also report him to his sponsors. In as much as he's apologized, they're still not happy with what he's done. Instead, fans are actually saying that what he should have done was use this platform, because it has over 1 million followers, to stand up against rape as opposed to using it as a butt of his joke. Once more, I'd like you guys to tweet me and tell me what your views are on that, because it's one of the raging things on Twitter right now.
Because you know what, really, Nigerians surprised me, you know. 2 people were lynched in Lagos for being gay. No opera. It didn't matter. People just like went about their normal business. People are killed on a daily basis for being gay. Homophobic statements are used by these same comedians, and no one is worried about it. And well, anyway, you know what? I don't think
that's what it is.
I just think there's too much hypocrisy going on around. I'm not saying what Basket Mouth did is right, but I'm just saying the same level of outrage on him using those rape words should be used against people being lynched.
But I think those outrage are used as well. I think,
but not as much as this. Anyway, I'm not going to go into this.
Well, if you think about this is somebody who is actually there in the public eye more than, you know, I'm not saying that the lynching shouldn't be, but we're not justifying it, but the way and manner we get tolerant with homophobic views, jokes about disabled people, jokes about people who stammer. And anyway, I want to thank you, Ngozi, anyway, and I want to deal with today's business. It's about President Goodluck Jonathan. We had this humble man from Otueke in South Nigeria who became the first South president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He had votes from the South, from the Southwest, from the North, and President Goodluck Ebele Azikwe Jonathan promised so much. And as he delivered, we're going to have Barrister Bob Olukoya, he doesn't want us to refer to him as barrister, and Dr. Bisi Adewale. But first, I want you to see this clip. It's a Sahara Reporters meeting with President Jonathan. And it showed another side of Jonathan when he's like not surrounded by clueless aides and clueless special advisors. This is a much more humane President Jonathan. And this is the kind of Jonathan I would love to see. Just watch this clip.
Mr. President, it's Sahara TV. We're just trying to get a few questions. What exactly you are doing to help to stop Boko Haram? I know that you declare state of emergency and all that.
We are working very hard on that.
How exactly, sir?
We are working very hard.
And 3,000 people have died.
Maybe you need to update your statistics.
Do you think it's okay to go ahead with the sovereign fund when other governors are in disagreement?
Sovereign fund is for the interest of the nation.
Okay.
It's not for the interest of Mr. President.
Yeah. How exactly is it for the interest?
Anybody who is disagreeing with sovereign fund doesn't really appreciate how nations manage their resources. That is one thing we have done, that all the professionals, both World Bank, IMF, AFC and other institutions that manage finances all over the world appreciate that the government has a focus, and it has helped to give us a better focus in terms of the economic stability. So if anybody is going against it, it's quite regrettable, but I don't think the governors are going against it anyway. It's a matter of...
But that's why they took the issue to court. Is it democratic that they are not for it, but you're going ahead?
No. We did that with the consent of the states. We did that with the consent of the states. The federal government did not impose it on the states.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Thank you. He's our president. It's okay if he talks to us. Thank you very much. Mr. President, it's Sahara TV. We're just trying to get a few questions. What exactly you are doing to help to stop Boko Haram? I know that you declare state of emergency and all that.
We are working very hard on that.
How exactly, sir?
We are working very hard.
And 3,000 people have died.
Maybe you need to update your statistics.
Do you think it's okay to go ahead with the sovereign fund when other governors are in disagreement?
Sovereign fund is for the interest of the nation.
Okay.
It's not for the interest of Mr. President.
Yeah. How exactly is it for the interest?
Anybody who is disagreeing with sovereign fund doesn't really appreciate how nations manage their resources. That is one thing we have done, that all the professionals, both World Bank, IMF, AFC and other institutions that manage finances all over the world appreciate that the government has a focus, and it has helped to give us a better focus in terms of the economic stability. So if anybody is going against it, it's quite regrettable, but I don't think the governors are going against it anyway. It's a matter of... But
that's why they took the issue to court. Is it democratic that they are not for it, but you're going ahead?
No. We did that with the consent of the states. We did that with the consent of the states. The federal government did not impose it on the states, no.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you.
Welcome back to the show. This is Ben TV, and it's your program Politics with KO. And that was Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan. Can you just see a side of Jonathan that we never see? A calm man. He doesn't have any hair around him. He looks like confident about what he's talking about, even though he was reading out some wrong statistics. But it's somebody you just want to meet and have a conversation with. In contrast, you saw the so-called special advisors trying to stop the Sahara Reporters lady, saying, it's enough, you can go. And maybe there's a side of Jonathan we're not seeing. But first, I just want Bob Olukoya and Dr. B.C. Adewale to have a conversation. Are Nigerians unfair to President Goodluck Jonathan? You're both welcome to Politics with KO. And,
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. Thank you.
Bob, let me start with you. Are we unfair to President Goodluck Jonathan?
Hello, viewers. Kaode, you know the answer to that. Of course we are. Of course we are unfair to President Goodluck Jonathan.
In what way?
In so many ways, Kaode. I will start with issues of policies. Nigerians tend to leave issues of policies and start attacking the personality of the man. You know, a man is humble, a man is gentle, a man is, not given to, temperament, and Nigerians are still complaining, well, not all Nigerians, some Nigerians are complaining. Kaode, let's take, for instance, the 2014 budget of the federal government. Go to the Debt Management Office, Budget Management Office website. Yeah. It's all there. And you could go there and, and take them to task. Go to the Lagos State government website. There's nothing about the 2014 budget.
So you're saying that he's more transparent, Jonathan is more transparent than the other government officials?
Listen, in a democracy, transparency, access to information, and all that are part of the virtues that you look out for. You know, I'm telling you, I've been trying to do an analysis of my state budget. I'm from Ogun State, you know, to know how much is actually budgeted for the Elisha Agowoye Road, you know, that has been on for the last 7-8 years. I cannot get it. But if I want to know how much is budgeted for Lokoja Abaji Road, I get it, because Mr. President has made sure his people have put it on the website.
Let me see if Dr. Adewale agrees with you. Well, he's saying that, you know, if you go on the federal, you can know how much Jonathan is spending. If you go on the website, we know he has 1 billion naira as money allocated for his meal. So it's transparent. He might be spending the money, but it's transparent.
Well, you know, first of all, my friend Bob Oluka said, you know, mentioned some attributes, some characteristics of the president. He's gentle, he's calm, he's this, he's that. That is not synonymous with development. You know, what we need in Nigeria is to see development. Development in terms of infrastructure, development that cuts across provision of uninterrupted electricity. We're sitting down here today, and there has not been a blip on the electricity. So, a friend of mine came from Nigeria, spent 2 weeks with me. I said, oh, this is the reason why things run very well in this country. There's no, water is running constantly, electricity is running constantly. And he said, I wonder if we can achieve this in Nigeria. Yes, we can achieve that in Nigeria. I believe firmly that we can achieve that in Nigeria.
Well, that's not
but the thing is, it's not, we're not going to achieve it with the kind of president we have sitting down at Asorok. Because to me, he is a president who is laid back. Is a kind of a lame duck president, the president who doesn't really have a clue on how to govern the country. People are being lynched every day across the country. They cannot find them. In Lagos, I know my friend will say Lagos State is not the federal government, but there are people of Nigeria, you know, lynched. Women are lynched. They were being brutalized. And there's been no clue that the police got them. Clips upon clips every day of people who are lynched, you know, mob justice across Nigeria. Now, people are being kidnapped across Nigeria. Boko Haram is there in Nigeria.
Bob, that's a point, though, isn't it? That the man, he used a word, he does not have a clue.
No, Coyote.
The president does not have a clue.
You see, Dr. Adewale has just, you know, roll out the rhetorics, the same thing that we've been hearing for the last 4 years in Nigeria and in some sect of the media. Listen, development is a process, you know, to get to a stage where all those things Dr. Adewale has mentioned works. It's a process. Let me give you an instance so that Dr. Adewale can know Nigeria is working, Nigeria is moving. It could be gradual, it could be, you know, at slow paces, but work has been done. Do you know what is called the graduate internship scheme? It's a scheme for unemployed Nigerians. It's a scheme whereby if you get interned with a firm, you get 25,000 naira as stipends every month. Okay, you don't need to spend money on transport because you have to look, you know, you get attached to a firm near where you live.
But beyond that scheme,
let me just
one more. One more. Also, just today, because we've got to be current, the Minister for Finance, you know, was it today or yesterday, told us that the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company is going to come on board next week. It's going to be launched on the 16th of January. Listen, that is anyway 40 years too late. But it's happening now. Nigerians are going to be able to get a mortgage, just like you will walk into NatWest, you walk into, you know, any, you know, Main Street, mortgage company, and get a mortgage.
I'm happy that Bob says it's too late for these things to start happening.
But it's happening now.
According to him, it starts happening at the federal level, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it. Whereas in Osun State, for example, you can see young graduates who are actually employed, 20,000 of them every year.
1.2 million
hold
jobs.
on. Let me say this.
1.6 million
Let me
jobs.
say this. That's on paper. We don't see, but we see it in Osun State. We see it in Ogun State. Yeah. We see it in Oyo State. It's not just employing them and taking 10,000 naira every month to get these young graduates and go, but also that scheme is a transition. It's a transition scheme into proper job, because wherever opportunities open for employment in the ministry, they actually transfer these people, so they get substantive job.
Doctor, that all you have from Jonathan is mere talk.
No. You see, the media has been hijacked by what I will call a group who does not want to say anything good.
Can you name them?
No. Well, I'm a lawyer, you see. I got to be very careful
but
with
that's why
choice of words,
okay.
So, I have to be calm like Mr. President, So, but what I'm trying to tell you is we keep getting all these negative vibes, negative feedbacks about what is happening, by majorly by people who are not really on the ground. I'll go back to the graduate internship scheme. We have a minimum of about 40 million unemployed Nigerians. Yeah. This scheme was set up for unemployed graduates to go to the website, to go register the details, and then for companies to also go online
let us
register. But Nigerians are not doing it.
Let us take issue by issue. On security, would you say President Jonathan has performed?
Listen, our security challenge in Nigeria is unprecedented. It has never happened before at this stage. And how did it happen?
Under Buhari?
At this stage, at this level, this sophistication, people able to have access to all sorts. Even the so-called Western world, the way they are dealing with security challenges today, the quantum of security challenge today overwhelms them.
Doctor, do you agree that the security situation is unprecedented, and that is one of the reasons why Jonathan is facing the challenge?
It is not unprecedented, because we had Mr. Sini, we have had series of these before Jonathan came in.
But they were not bombed, they were not using
now it has got to a very advanced level. Probably unprecedented level. However, when we come to discuss this kind of thing, I'm amazed when people actually sweep what should be done aside and hide under the excuse that it hasn't happened before. If it hasn't happened before, the problem is that it will not happen. The problem is not that it will not happen, and even worse thing will not happen. But what have you got to address it? Let me tell you, 9/11 never happened before in America. It was addressed and it never happened again. 7/7 never happened in Britain. It happened and it never happened again. There is no security device to nip this thing. Our military are poorly trained, our police are poorly trained. There is corruption. There's corruption involved in all these things. Every little event.
Dr. Adewale has a point.
That's not fair.
Why should you always hinge on this excuse that it has never happened before?
That is not fair. Okay. Let me give you a personal experience. October 1st, in the year where the bomb went off near Eagle Square, I was in Abuja. I was by the Federal Secretariat.
I was in Abuja.
Okay. I was there. It happened right in front of me. Okay, I escaped, thankfully. And I know what has happened between then and now.
Between then and now, over 3,000 people have died.
Listen, Kaude, let's take it, issue by issue. We're talking about Abuja now.
Yes.
Okay, have you heard any incident in Abuja city again? No, it's because the intelligence gathering has improved. Okay. It's because security apparatus have now taken their work more serious. Mr. President have devoted a huge chunk of our natural resource.
This is corruption.
Can I just land on that?
Abuja is a seat of power. Most important people need to be taken care of, whereas the people that are regarded as less important can be killed.
Abuja is not Nigeria.
Listen, Abuja
is not Nigeria.
Listen, Abuja is our capital
security
city.
Has to cover the whole of the cities in Nigeria.
Abuja is the face of Nigeria, so to say, because it's the seat of government. If the terrorists can get into Abuja and do what they want to do, then nobody is safe in Nigeria.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Abuja is not the seat of all businesses in Nigeria. Foreign investors will come to Nigeria, not only just to invest in Abuja, they invest in Kano, they invest in Kaduna, they invest in Lagos. So why just concentrate on
the 1 minute. We're going to open the phone lines because we want this conversation to also involve Nigerians, because are we really unfair to President Goodluck Jonathan? Is it that these problems are overwhelming, that it didn't start under him? So he should just relax and enjoy himself. Let's talk about the economy. What has improved under Jonathan?
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Kayode, the economy of Nigeria has improved.
Okay.
Your colleague just said Nigeria is now, and some other country, the mint country. We're not called the mint country. When we didn't make the BRICS country, we were up in arms that Nigeria has been kicked out again from this exclusive club. Now we have the mint. They're talking about us. That is good. Let me give you a scenario. In Abuja, people are saying, oh, there is no cash flowing. Oh, there is no money on the street. And I'm telling them, listen, I grew up in a society, in a system where money don't flow on the street. You got to work for it.
Okay, just give me a minute. Yes. I've got Wale on the line. Wale, good evening.
For taking my call.
Hello, Wale.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much for taking my call. Thank you for this interesting program.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the doctor on your left, the Dr. Adewale, I think, to be honest, doctor, you've been too academic with your description of the president. I think it's only fair we take issues by issue. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Yoruba man and I'm not a supporter of the president. But you're a hard lecturer yourself. And it's only fair you're objective and you don't come on TV and just, make categorical statement about your president without being thorough. You need to understand that the system of government we've got, right? If you're going to hold the president responsible, hold the 36 governors responsible for security, or the local government responsible. We all have to be responsible. Don't just put the blame on the president.
Okay, Wale, just hold on. Before Dr. Adewale raised, I want Dr. Adewale to take note of that question. Okay. I've got Chooks on the line. Chooks, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Kayode.
Yeah, go ahead, Chooks.
Calling from London.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say something on the issue of development and security in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You see, we should not judge Jonathan based on his 2 years of administration at the issue of development in Nigeria. Yeah. Because Nigeria, if you watch NTA News today, you would have seen the old eastern part of parliament, the old eastern region, Enugu state, that was built in 18-something in Enugu, was dilapidated and left over 40 or 60 years ago. It wasn't under Jonathan's administration.
Okay.
Now, coming the other man sitting down there talking about his friend that visited him in London enjoying power. Yeah. Power is never a road that you'll be constructing and you'll be seeing, and the car will be making use of it at the same time.
Okay, just hold on. That's Dr. Adewale. Dr. Adewale, I want you to respond to the two.
Yeah, I thank the two gentlemen, and I've heard what he said. Yeah. However, I wonder if we actually, the reason why we are experiencing growth without development in Nigeria is that Nigerians are too complacent. Yeah. They accept what comes across them, and they say, the president, the buck stops on the table of the president. Yeah. He has his ministers, they have to discharge their duties. Yeah. So you can't blame me, you can't blame ordinary people. The president is responsible to provide the conducive business environment for the development of Nigeria in all phases. So for someone to say, that something is too academic, but when we talk about development, when we talk about continuous development, we judge by the best of the best. You cannot sit down and say, well, this is too much for me. Oh, this didn't happen at my time, and so there's nothing I can do. To say that.
Chooks, doctor has got a point there, hasn't he?
I want to ask you one question.
Okay, go ahead.
The second question I want to ask you on the issue of security.
Yeah.
The security problem of Nigeria started immediately the election was announced, and about 20 or 15 core members from the south, more especially one from my kindred, was killed in the north, and nobody said anything. If the emir of Sokoto can be able to come out and say, Boko Haram should stop. And if we say Boko Haram should stop, Boko Haram will stop.
Okay.
If the entire Northern will unite and be saying we are forming a peace, if they will come together and say Boko Haram should stop, I'm telling you, Boko Haram will come.
Okay, Chooks, Bob, is that not part of the argument of always trying to blame the northern part of Nigeria for Jonathan's problem?
No, I disagree with you, Claudia.
Bob, Chooks, just 1 minute.
Hold on, Chooks. Let me quickly align with Chooks and Wale on what they have said. Okay. I think that Adewale, with due respect, you probably don't realize the enormity of the problems Nigeria is going through. Health sector, infrastructure, security, it is huge, it is enormous. Okay, so academic theory will not work in this place.
Let me just quickly say that this is not about academic theory. Okay. I am conversant with Nigeria. I go to Nigeria regularly. Okay. So I have families there. Okay. I have my own building here. Okay. I stay in Nigeria. Okay. And I come here. So I am not an alien to Nigeria situation.
Let's go to
I know what is going on there.
2 years since the president, well, 3rd year for President Jonathan. It's too soon to judge the man.
Well, the man
he has a mandate for 4 years.
He has been deputy governor.
I disagree with that.
But hold on, Pedro. I've got Pedro on the line. Good evening, Pedro.
Okay.
Good evening. Do we still have Pedro there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, please. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, Pedro.
Yeah, what I want to say is the doctor by your side, who is a lecturer, is very appalling because he said that he goes to Nigeria. He has a house in Nigeria, but he's not talking like somebody who has visited Nigeria in the last 20 years. Let me tell you, doctor, you are in Europe. You know that division. You know that division of levels. You know that there's arms that make up government.
Indeed.
You know that there is 3 arms of government. 3 arms that makes the government. You know that they have an executive, they have legislature, and they have a judiciary. Yeah. Are you aware of that? And you are saying, in a country like Nigeria that has been deteriorated for more than 40 years, should be put in place in 4 years. You're talking like you're not a lecturer then. Let me come.
Okay.
Let me come.
I'll give him the right of reply. I'll give Doctor the right of reply.
Yeah. You see, what we need to realize that in a democracy, it isn't that there will be no problems. Yeah. But the difference between democracy and dictatorship is that when problem happens, it is addressed. You don't sit down and say, it's too so. Let me give an example. I know people will say, oh, this is Europe. But we have to compare with the best of the best. And we will find a way forward. The former Prime Minister, Goodluck, when some people accuse him, you don't realize that I'm just few days old in this way. Did you see how people say, well, you are there. Address the problem for us. This is how it should be done. This is not academic thing. It's the ability, it's the capacity to actually govern and to address the problem of the nation.
Bob,
this is it.
The president made electoral promises.
Promises, indeed.
He didn't tell us 3 years ago that, look, these problems have been there forever. I'm not going to be able. He said, I will do it. Indeed. So we should be able to take him.
And he is doing it. He is doing it. Okay, Dr. Adewale Kayode, which of these ministers that you wouldn't put in your cabinet? Tell me. Is it Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala?
I wouldn't.
You won't put her in your cabinet? Because of all these crises? You won't put additional in your cabinet?
I wouldn't want this to be 2 to 1. I encourage viewers to call in because this is a very important question. Are we being unfair to President Goodluck Jonathan? Or is it that he's just incompetent and should be called out by Nigerians? Bob, I want to ask you this question.
Yes.
Corruption.
Yes.
Would you say President Jonathan is fighting corruption?
As far as I'm concerned, you see, I am not part of the crowd that personalizes issue. Okay. Do we have the institution to fight corruption in Nigeria? It's yes and no. Okay? I am a lawyer. I know. I volunteer for the EFCC. I prosecute for the EFCC on a voluntary basis. Okay? And I know the problem that is endemic in fighting corruption in Nigeria.
So what did Obasanjo do differently that Jonathan is not doing?
Kayode, you know. Fighting corruption on the pages of newspaper or arresting or clamping people into jail without trial is not fighting corruption. Corruption is due process.
Name the number of people that were put in jail without trial under Obasanjo.
Kayode, you know better than me. And
because there are lots of our viewers who would want to be educated on this. And I want to make it, can you tell me what Jonathan has done differently in terms of corruption? I mean, 1.3 trillion naira got missing, almost $50 billion got missing. What is he doing?
These are headlines. These are figures that were picked from God knows where and being thrown about. A old CBN governor was talking about how many billions? 50, 80 billion the other day, and then all of a sudden he did a volte-face and said, oh no, it's now 10 billion.
Just hold on. I've got Ola on the line. Good evening, Ola, and I want Michael to hold on. Good evening, Ola. Hello, good evening, Ola.
Hello, Kayode.
Yeah, where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Birmingham.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you for the program. You know, I think we are heading to, by 2015, I think we are heading to having another
election,
accidental president,
okay,
like we always have.
Yeah.
It's the independence of Nigeria.
Yeah.
We'll be having accidental presidents. Jonathan is just a lucky man, and I think his time is. I mean, I think his luck is running out now.
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is this: by 2015, as God liveth, Jonathan will leave the power. We will vote him out. Because the reason why I say this is this: if you look at Jonathan was vice president in Bayelsa. He became a governor. Hello?
Hello, I'm with you.
He became a governor. After he became a governor, he became the vice president to
Yaradua
Jr. Then that man spent, I think, 1.5 or 2 years in power. Then he died.
Yeah.
Jonathan take over. After he take over, then we fought for him 2011. If you look at Jonathan at the arena of power within the PDP, the same party, since 2003. He's been in power. Okay? He's been having experience. But what I wanted to tell you is this. Let us be realistic to ourselves.
Yeah.
This is the reality. I don't pray to become, I'm not a politician. Yeah. I don't pray to become a governor in my life or president of a nation. But the reality is this. When Jonathan came into power, 2011, before when Yaradua and Obasanjo were there, we were using almost 345 billion or 500 billion for oil subsidy.
Okay.
Okay? Immediately Jonathan came into power. Jonathan raised that, we spent almost 2.2 or 2.3 trillion naira on subsidy. And since then, we've been spending that money.
Okay, Ola, because I want Michael. I've got another caller. I want Michael to see. Michael, good evening.
Good evening.
Go ahead, Michael. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Scotland.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Please, I just want Nigeria to know that even though the problems did not happen during Jonathan's administration, that we keep on saying that the problem did not start with Jonathan, then who is going to solve the problem? If by tomorrow Mr. President leaves the place, another person comes in, are we still going to say that the problem did not start with that person?
Okay.
What Nigeria needs is, if it's education, let Mr. President face his education. If it is health, if it is road, we are not saying that you should solve all the problem once and at once, but you should identify the problem and face one so that Nigeria will know that, okay, Mr. President has done this. That's what Nigeria wants. We should just not be saying that the problem did not start with Mr. President.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to solve the problem.
Bob, is that not true? Why do we keep making excuses for Jonathan?
That is very true, and it is not excuses. It's just being fair and stating the obvious. It didn't start with him, but it's dealing with it. As far as I'm concerned, this government is dealing with it. It didn't start. People start to say it didn't start with Jonathan.
Okay, he promised. Let me read you one of his promises.
Yes.
He promised to give us constant supply of electricity.
Yes.
The reality, even by government admittance, is that it has gone down.
Yes.
All the huge money spent on that.
It's a process. Okay. Only about 3 months ago, the 5 generating companies and the 10 distributing companies were sold off to the private sector. They have to develop capacity. This rot has been there since before I was born.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Adewale. Dr. Adewale, I've got this question for you. Bob just mentioned. If you take a look at those who took over electricity, power supply now, they are still the same people saying Jonathan is not working. You've got Atiku, who has an investment in the new company. You've got Bola Tinubu, who's got his own share in one of the new companies. Members of the opposition are also benefiting from the rot in the system.
That's the problem we have in Nigeria. And when I talk about Nigeria, I'm very passionate about Nigeria as a true Nigerian. And when I speak about Nigeria, it's not because I like the face of someone or I don't like the face of someone. It's the reality that we need to speak about. Because our political class are a disappointment, generally, across all parties. And they are deeply, deeply corrupted across all parties. And that's the problem we have in Nigeria. But again, I am saying that the only person who can address that to save Nigeria is Mr. President, is the chief executive, is the president and commander-in-chief. So the buck stops on his table. Cameron cannot make excuses that local governments he cannot handle them. Obama cannot say the several states in the United States he cannot handle it. He is the president.
Okay, Bob.
He is the president.
Bob, you are a lawyer, and you know that the army, the police are all under the president.
Yes.
State governors cannot even control the police. It's happening to Amechi now.
Yes.
Even the wife of the president seems to have more power in controlling commissioners of police.
You are saying that.
You know,
yeah,
so
you are saying that. Yeah.
So why should we blame insecurity in the state on the governor when he's got absolutely no control of the police?
I agree with you to a certain extent. Yeah. That appellation of I am the chief security officer of my state should be done away with. You know, I don't believe that. You know, the police is under the control of the Inspector General of Police, and the army is under the ultimate control of Mr. President, which is how it should be. And when there is a need for them to be deployed to any trouble spot, they should be so deployed. But when a governor, you know, start putting himself in conflict with his commissioner of police,
I want to tackle security, you can tackle security.
Okay, Sonny, before you go, Sonny, I just want to quickly ask you a question. You live in Berlin. How are Nigerians in Berlin? How do they react to the situations in Nigeria? Nigerians in Germany?
They don't react good.
Okay.
They don't. Their views are always the same thing. They all, most of them, 50% of them are saying the same thing. That the president is doing well.
Okay. I'll let Bob quickly react.
Sonny, thank you for calling, and you're entitled to your opinion. But let me quickly tell you that there is a difference between defending somebody and being fair to the person. Okay? Because I am saying Nigerians should be fair to Mr. President doesn't necessarily mean I'm defending him. He has a lot of paid people to do that job. But what I'm telling you, that the reality on the ground in Nigeria is not as it is being painted. Okay, if it's as it is being painted, why do you have flight load? I take what's it called, Lufthansa to Nigeria. You know, when I come abroad, and I see loads of foreigners coming to our country, going the other way, and then we are coming this way. If it's that bad, why are they all coming? What are they coming to do?
That's a point. There are quite a lot of people going to Nigeria.
Yes, it is true, because in Nigeria, as one of the statistics said, with the Ngozi, Nigeria has the potential to develop. And people who are economists, who are business people, they can see the level at which Nigeria can develop to. And so they can see the potential. So they are curious to invest in Nigeria. I go to Nigeria every time, contrary to the opinion of some people say, hey, I've been to Nigeria for a long time. I'm very, very familiar with the situation in Nigeria. And I travel with people, Europeans, who come to Nigeria to invest. But where do they invest? Most of them are not investing in housing. They're not investing in agriculture. But it's our oil.
Why would they? You are calling your president clueless?
It is the oil. It is part of the deal. It's part of the corruption.
I want Tim to come in. Good evening, Tim. I've got a caller on the line, Tim. Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
I've got, I don't quite disagree with the two speakers, but I just want to get something clear from the young lawyer, Bola.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob, because I've heard him commenting that the whole thing is a process. His earlier statement stated that the whole thing is a process and it will come out and so. Yeah. I very much agree with him on that issue. But how long is this process going to take? Let's take, for instance, the credit crunch in the West. Obama came into office. Why with the problem of the credit crunch? Well, he has not actually solved the whole issue, but everybody can see a green shoot coming out within the tenure of his office. We also have another example with Cameron. We can see that the European nation or the European countries, they are gradually coming out of. This is what is called, I think this is what is referring to as process.
Okay.
So how can you contrast that with the process in Nigeria? How long are we going to start seeing green shoots?
Okay. Okay, before Bob responds, I've still got Simon. Do we still have Simon on the line?
Yes.
Simon, go ahead. Where are you calling from, Simon?
I'm calling from Fountain Hills.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Just want to thank you for this wonderful program. My suggestion or my advice to our president is he's doing well. However, he needs to improve on certain things that on the like electricity. Without electricity, cannot tackle the problem of security. So if the privatization has gone into the hands of the old people, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think the president should cancel the privatization.
Okay, Simon, just hold on. I just want, because this topic is really engaging.
Indeed.
And I think we need to exhaust. So I'm going to appeal to my producer. If we can extend till 10:30, I'll be more than happy to, because we need, these are serious issues, and we actually need to analyze the policies of the government. So Simon, can you just quickly round up with your contribution?
Okay. What I'm trying to say is, my advice to the president is to cancel the privatization of that has already made on the electricity, and get in a foreign body, foreign companies that can do more justice to provision of electricity in Nigeria. Without electricity, you will not be able to track the bad people. Okay. And you know what I mean. So
okay, Simon, Bob, that is actually a Nigerian making, not calling it the president clueless, but making very serious proposal.
Yes.
That why give electricity supply to the same set of politicians when you've got foreigners who could do better jobs.
You see, Simon, well done. That's well said. However, something you're missing out is that all these Nigerians that are the face of the new owners, they have technical partners. They have financial partners who are not Nigerians. They are from abroad. They are from all over the world supporting these new owners in getting this power sector up and running. And then to Tim, is saying when would we see manifestation of all this work? But Tim, we are seeing it. Okay, in Abuja there's something we call Shuopi staff. When you call somebody Shuopi staff, it means you have been employed on the since the beginning of Shuopi, when after the event of Ojota, where you guys went on the street and protested, and the money was set aside. Occupy Nigeria, money was set aside. A lot of Nigerians have been employed into the ministries, agency, and department in Abuja. At least I know that, because you see some of them wearing reflective, showing Shuopi. Those they will tell you they are seeing the benefit of this transformation of Mr. President. I'm sure in other states it's happening that way too. The 1.6 million, I agree that once in a while when these press releases are given out, it has to be a bit more detailed. Okay, like you have to say what sector the 1.6 million.
I've got a good news for our viewers. Because of the number of phone calls we're getting in, and it seems this is one discussion people are interested in. And I've been told Twitter is actually on fire now. So we're going to extend this program by 30 minutes. And there's a clip. We want the views of ordinary Nigerians. Well, not ordinary Nigerians, I beg your pardon. We want a view of regular Nigerians. I was in Nigeria a few days ago, and we're going to play you a clip of somebody in Umuahia, which the producer is going to get that ready. But before then, let me take a phone call from Juliet. Juliet, good evening. Juliet, good evening.
Yes, good evening. I want to contribute.
Yeah, where are you calling from, Juliet?
I'm calling from Madrid, Spain.
All right, go ahead, Juliet.
Yeah. Why are they blaming Jonathan? All the whole rulers, like Obasanjo, Babangida, and so on and so forth, when they were ruling, there was no light. Nigeria is the same problem. We have the same problem, okay? They always took light from Nigeria. Then why are they blaming Jonathan? Only 2 years. What of Babangida, Obasanjo, who ruled more than 4 years or 6 years? And we why are you complaining of lies about
Okay,
Jonathan?
Juliet,
What
because
that man, excuse me, let me finish, please.
no, I'm not going to. I just want to know quickly. I just want to ask you. You're going to. Don't worry, we have time. Juliet, I just want to ask you. You're calling from Spain. Are Nigerians?
I'm calling from Spain. Yes.
Yeah, are Nigerians in Spain happy with President Jonathan?
Yes, we are all happy with Jonathan. Please, we are all happy with Jonathan. I'm not a politician anyway, but Jonathan I love Jonathan rule. Let me be frank with you, okay? The so-called Boko Haram, I know that is something between Christian and Muslim. That's the issue of that Boko Haram. Please, let them leave that man. Let them allow him to have a breathing space. Let them leave him for another 4 years. Yes.
Okay, well, Dr. Adewale, that's Julia saying Jonathan is wonderful. He's actually one of the best in our
love his school.
Do you agree with that?
Well, Juliet has expressed her opinion as she understands it. But all I know is that as a public commentator and someone who is conversant with situations in Nigeria and who actually monitors what goes on in Nigeria when I'm not in Nigeria, I know that there was a lot of criticism, you know, of Obasanjo's regimes and Babangida regime. In fact, it was criticism and pressure that made Babangida to leave power. He never wanted to leave. So it is not just Jonathan. You know, when we were talking, we have to have the interest of the Nigeria, of the Nigerian people and Nigeria in mind, not just one person. If we have sympathy too much for one person, then we leave Nigeria to rot.
Okay, I've got Esther. Good evening, Esther.
Esther, and I'm calling from London.
Okay, go ahead. You're welcome to politics.
Nobody is blaming Jonathan, but I haven't seen anything he has done. Those people that are comparing the past leader, they shouldn't do that. Nigeria has a problem of electricity, and Jonathan promised to do something when he entered the office, but he has not done anything. And Boko Haram, kill all Christians. Jonathan has not done anything. And for you to be listening to the Northern, when Northern see that the Christians are clean, they didn't do anything. Why should Jonathan be listening to them? If Jonathan promised to give us electricity in Nigeria, let's do that one. Anybody that gives us the electricity, we will be worshiping the person, because Nigeria is totally out of nowhere. If you see Ghana is better. Our politicians carry Nigerian money to go and sell company in Ghana, oil company. When I came home then 2012 in January during strike, we traveled to Ghana on the plane, coming and go. All the company, the money they stole, they give them to Ghana and they send up company. Let Jonathan do the electricity for us, and we will know that we have a better president. Without that, I don't see anything he has done. I'm so sorry.
Thanks. You don't need to apologize. Happy you called. Now, she made a point. The president promised to raise power generation to about 4,747 megawatts by December 2011. He promised to raise power by 4,747 by December 2011. We are in 2013. It has actually gone down. 2014, sorry. And it has gone down. So why
we are still talking of generating less than 5,000. That's a disgrace. That's disgraceful. You know, I am not condoning that. You know, South Africa and other countries of our ilk are generating over 50,000 megawatts. Okay, we cannot condone that. It's not acceptable. But what we are saying is that the rot has been there for a very long time, unfortunately, and there's a process. There's a process now ongoing. But before, let's quickly leave the power sector and go to security. You see, if people keep saying Jonathan isn't doing anything about security, about Boko Haram. You know what you're doing? You are killing those security men again. All those soldiers, all those naval officers, all those Air Force officers. You are killing them again because they've died for Nigeria. They've lost their life. They have dependents who have loved ones, and you are saying they've not done anything. They have. It might not be enough. It might still be ongoing, but they have. Let's give them kudos.
Okay, I want Lola and the other caller to hold on. But is it not true though that we still have brave men and women of the armed forces trying to curtail Boko Haram?
Yes, and they are very brave indeed, and they're doing a good job to the best of their capacity and to the best of their ability. But that's their best is not good enough. Not because of the military, but because of the facilities available to them to do the job. And who provides this facility? People have been talking about electricity. I've been talking about. I'm so much concerned because electricity is not just for ordinary people. Even the government will be able to install security systems that will not need human traces. You know, tracking system to track criminals and to locate them wherever they are, and the job becomes easier for these military people. But that's not done.
Okay. Just hold on. I've got Lola on the line, and after Lola, we're going to play you a clip of a gentleman I met in Umuahia, who is going to tell us, is actually going to analyze Nigeria, and he's going to talk about President Jonathan. Lola, good evening.
Good evening.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from London.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes. Well, my contribution is that, first and foremost, people should stop being over-sentimental about who is in power. And people who are not in Nigeria, who don't really know what is going on there, should not just call and express unnecessary sentiments. In the first place, I want to speak with Bob, who thinks that we are being unfair to the president. No one is being unfair to the president, because every president has to be assertive up to an extent. We're not talking about a dictator, we're talking about assertiveness. And the president we have at the moment is not very assertive. Nigeria is too big for us to have a president that cannot control the people. Look at the lady that was interviewing him. I mean, there is an ethic with every job. And I think that she went a bit out of bounds with the way she was addressing the president. And it's not because she wants to. It's just the nature of the president. And really, there's no need to go on running if you cannot do the job. That is all we are saying. If you cannot do the job, then
Lola, on that little advice from Lola, saying that if you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, then get out of the kitchen. I would want to have you watch this clip from Umuahia in Nigeria, and then just keep calling after. We're going to have an extended time after this clip. This is a clip from Umuahia in Nigeria. What's your name? Can we meet you?
Okay. I'm Mr. Alexander Okeke.
Alexander Okeke, where are you from?
I'm from Imo State.
Imo State.
Olo.
Olo, okay, that's Olo. So, how do you see our country now? What's your position? What do you feel about Nigeria today?
Obodo anyị wụ Nigeria wee obodo Chineke gọziri agọzi na-aga nke ọma, but now ile anya ihe isi ike juru everywhere. Ama m ihe ga-akpa ya ga-ebutere ya. M ga-asị na onye ọchịchị anya amaghị achị, ọ na-agbalị, ọ dịrọ izi ịchị ọchịchị. O nna ya ukwu Goodluck Jonathan, ọ na-agbalị because ọ dịrọ mfe. If face many problems no any e mara onye nyere ọrụ rụọ ọ na-arụ, ị ga-aga na-enyocha ihe ọ na-arụ. So otu e nyere ọrụ ya na-arụ, onye ndị ọzọ ndị ahụ onyecha ọ ga-aga na-enyochawa onye ọbụla. Ụfọdụ ndị e nyere ọrụ rụọ na-arụ fe, ma ọrụ agaghị arụta ihe kwesịrị ka ha rụọ ka Nigeria nwee ike na-agụ otu o kwesịrị. I believe na Jonathan na-agbalị.
But you know Second Onitsha Bridge?
Yeah.
You know how important that bridge is for Igbo people?
Yes.
You know, why do you think they've not touched that bridge in a long time?
You know, that's a bridge. Of course, they call it two. Because when bridge also gets here by Lagos or Abuja, on that bridge, Kigejimike, across. And since and Elanya, one day when he came back at that place, I actually na otu Goodluck bayara n'ọchịchị onye side ebe nke anyị na o nwere ike inye aka arụ that place. Ama m ihe ji that place arụbeghị ya.
Okay, let me ask you this one. You know Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Igala, Edo, how do you think we can bring everybody together to live as one people in peace, so that Igbo people in Lagos, they will live peacefully, Yoruba people in Igbo land, peacefully. Hausa people in Uganda, how can we achieve unity?
O kwere nghọta na ihe nwere ike ime ka unity dị bụ mgbe mmadụ nyere onwe ya nyefere onwe ya n'aka Chineke. Nyefe onwe gị n'aka Chineke, Chineke were gị na-alụ ọlụ, inwe ike ime ka udo dị. Mana ọ bụrụ na inyefe onwe gị n'aka Chineke, nkewa ga-anọ n'ime gị, and nkewa ga-apụtakwa n'ime mmadụ. So ihe ga-enye aka ime ka udo dị n'obodo a, ebe ndị Hausa na ndị tribụ ndị a kpọrọ aha na wụ inwe ndị a ha niile nọkọta ọnụ ndị isi ndị a, ndị isi ndị Igbo, ndị isi ndị Gara, ndị isi ndị Hausa, ndị isi ndị Yoruba, ndị isi ndị Edo, ya ndị Kalaba, ha niile anọkọta ọnụ kpebie ofu ihe. Ha ala onye ọbụla gaa n'obodo nke ya ga-agwa ndị obodo ya lekwa ihe otu a ga-esi n'ihe a. Mgbe ha kpebiri ihe dị otu a, nwee one mind, ofu obi, ọ ga-enwe ike mee ka datin lụọ ọlụ. Beta ọ bụ na enweghị ike ịnọkọta kpebie ofu ihe were lụọ ọlụ, adịghị ha ga-ekpebi ga-awụ ihe ga-enyere obodo aka na-agaghị ụfọ naanị nke onwe, bikos ụfọdụ ndị na-eme mkpebi a naanị nke onwe nyere naanị ha onwe ha aka. Ile anya Mandela onye South Africa, o wepụtara ndụ ya chụọ aja ime ka obodo ya dị mma. So otu aka o kwesịrị onye ọbụla na-achọ obodo a ga-awụ onye ga-ewepụ onwe ya kpamkpam ma were onwe nke obodo ya jiri n'aka, mee ka ihe ọbụla nke a na-achọ ka ọ dị mma wee pụta ihe.
Thank you very much. And this your market now. I see everybody is struggling now to establish business. And I know Igbo people, they are quite determined to even carry this industry. So how are people surviving, into trade, into trading even in China? Igbo people are everywhere trying to survive. What would you have to say to Igbo, all over the world trying to survive?
Ndị Igbo ndị siri ike, ha na-agba mbọ, nke ọbụla etiri ha na-agba mbọ ka ha hụ na ha rụpụtara ihe ga-enyere ha aka. Ha na-ele mmadụ anya, ha na-agba mbọ iwepụta ihe nke ga-enyere obodo ha aka ka anụ aha ha anụ. Ihe ga-enye aka n'obodo a wụ ndị ọchịchị obodo inye sọpọt. Ọ bụ na ndị ọchịchị nye sọpọt, nye ndị Igbo sọpọt ka ha nwee ike inye ha wee ebumnuche ha ime ka biznes na-aga nke ọma, enyere ha aka n'ụzọ inye ha ego. Bikos ma ọ bụrụ na ị nwere ihe ị chọrọ ịzụ, ma ọ bụrụ na iji ego ị ga-azụta nwunye, ị ga ebe a sị ka ha nye gị kredit, then won't. So ihe ga-enye aka gọọmenti ịsọpọtụ ndị Igbo, nyere ha aka inye ụzọ ego n'ime ka importation dị too low. So ọ ga-enye aka ime ka.
Well, you're welcome back to Politics with KO, and that is everywhere I visited in Nigeria, speaking to regular people. The conversations they are having is quite different from the conversations so-called intellectuals are having. You see ordinary, regular people talking about unity of Nigerians, the need to get together and solve the problem. They're not thinking in terms of Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa as we discuss on Twitter and Facebook. And it's just a great difference in their thinking from the so-called political elite. I first want to take Henry. Good evening, Henry.
Good evening, sir.
Henry, good evening. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from some place called Stoke Newington.
Okay, go ahead. You watched that clip. What was your impression?
My impression is that, yeah, we have to be unified in Nigeria. Yeah, it's very, very important. Yeah, that's by the wayside.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to come in on a very different level.
Okay.
And the level is, yeah, it's very easy to blame the president of the country.
Okay.
To talk about the stench, so to speak, about the country. But in actual sense, why is it that an average Nigerian everywhere in the world is corrupt? Now, London is a cosmopolitan society.
Yeah.
So many nationalities from all over the world. Why is it that, you know, in every walk of life in London, an average Nigerian is very corrupt?
Okay, first,
very corrupt.
Henry, I would want you to reduce the volume of your TV set, and I want you to give me the statistics that confirms your assertion that Nigerians are, most Nigerians are corrupt in the UK, because we have almost 1 million plus Nigerians in the UK. How did you arrive at that conclusion?
How do I arrive at that conclusion? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There is something called random sampling.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't need to go around interviewing all the Nigerians in the United Kingdom, for example. But what you can say is that the few that I've come in contact with, all they're after is me, myself, and I. What is in there for me? Just an average Nigerian is unbelievable. You don't need to go to churches. Yeah, you don't need David Cameron or other nationalities to actually, explain that Nigerians are corrupt.
Okay. I get your point. I want Abi to come in here, then I will have my guests have a say on that. Abi, good evening.
Good evening.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Orsett in Essex.
Okay, go ahead. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. I just want to contribute and say, as a Nigerian myself, we go all over the world, we see what's going on there, we see what their president or leaders are doing. Choosing to be a leader in a country is a choice.
Yeah.
You actually went out and canvassed for them to vote for you, which means you're ready to make changes to things that need to be changed in the country. You want to take the country forward.
Yeah.
So now being there and not making an impact is nobody's fault. It's not as a result of people accusing fingers at you. The likes of Cameron, the likes of Obama, they don't physically do it themselves. Yeah. But they have control, complete control over people they have designated the jobs to. So as far as I'm concerned, our leader is a little bit laid back. And it's like one of your panel said, he's not going to be there physically to do it himself, the lecturer. He's not going to be there to do it himself. But he decided that this post, as a leader of Nigeria, I want to be there, I want to make an impact, and we have not seen any impact.
Okay, just hold on, don't go, please. Bob, that is a valid point.
Yes.
If you are employed as the chief executive of a public corporation, and you don't deliver, you get sacked. Jonathan campaigned, and there are quite a numerous number of promises he made, and he's not even made up to 10%. Nigerians, don't they have a valid reason to call into question his competence?
You say, no, his competence is not what we're talking about here. Yeah. What we're talking about here is Nigerians wants to see all these promises manifest yesterday. But again, I am not defending Mr. President.
Let me give you, he gave a timeline.
Yes.
He himself, nobody forced him to give those timelines. He gave a timeline about electricity. He gave a timeline about corruption. He gave timelines, and those timelines are within 2 years, and we're going into election year.
Those are targets, Kayode, and that's why we're saying stop distracting this administration.
Okay. In what way is it being distracted?
A few weeks ago, there were letters flying all about. That is distraction. These are the same people writing each other who will meet again at the same villa on Sunday, saying they're having service, and then they're using that to distract Nigeria, to distract people who ought to be working. Look at the Nigeria Human Rights Commission. Now they're going to be looking for 1,000 snipers. They're going to be looking for Italy's when they should be looking at ordinary Nigerians.
Stanley, hold on, please. Are Nigerians distracting President Jonathan?
Some Nigerians, not all.
Well, some Nigerians.
Sorry. First of all, Nigerians are justified to call their president to questions on his promises, which has not delivered. There's something called accountability and responsibility in leadership. When you assume an office, you're accountable for you're responsible for what all that goes with that, with that. Nigerians are not saying that from our president, and that is unfortunate. Now, to say distraction, I agree that there are some distraction of what the president is doing, not the letters anyway. Letters, nothing. But Jonathan should just get on doing his job, prove to the onus is on him, actually, to prove, my friend, Bob Luka is a lawyer, the onus is on the president to prove that he's not laid back. The onus is on him to prove that he can deliver. It's not on anyone else. So to say, let us distract president is very, very surprising. If you say Boko Haram menaces is distracting president, I accept that. Because that's security.
Let me see,
not letters,
let me see if my caller, Stanley, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Stanley, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from London, yeah.
Okay, I would love to hear your views about this.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you guys are doing, but there's one thing I have to say. Nigeria have to learn to their president. It's not fair why anytime people will just sit down and calling Nigerian President Jonathan this, Jonathan that.
Okay.
Jonathan is trying as far as concerned because at times of security, we're talking about all these Boko Haram we're talking about. They are all Nigerians.
Okay.
People you see today can be Boko Haram tomorrow. So how will he find them? And some of their governors are supporting them. Are calling president. What of the United States anytime?
Okay. I want to, Tony, I want to get you right. You said some governors are supporting Boko Haram. Can you name a few?
Let me just say some politics. Let me not just like naming some of them.
Yeah.
I'm not in that position to name any of the governors and any of those. Some politics are supporting them.
Okay, can you name one or two politicians just for education?
In times of election, some people promise Jonathan they will have to make their governor ungovernable. So all those things we don't have to keeping bringing presidents are doing under security lists and other stuff. Okay, U.S. It's easy for U.S. Why U.S. even the gangsters in war now is in the U.S. So why U.S. not taking guns from gangsters in U.S.?
Okay, just hold on, and I want Tony to also hold on. Now, I've had these questions raised over and over again. Some people are sponsoring Boko Haram.
Yes.
Even Mr. President had aligned to that and said some people, politicians, are behind Boko Haram. As the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and is in charge of the police, has he not failed in his duty if he knows these people and he's not bringing them to justice?
No. Kayode, you should understand a number of things. You mentioned Metesin earlier.
No, I want to understand why Jonathan, I want to understand why the president is not bringing Boko Haram sponsors to book when he claims he knows them. Is he not an accomplice? You're a lawyer.
Well,
if you know
Mr. President did not mention any name. He did not mention name of people. But from evidence, from intelligence reports, he probably, been briefed that, there are some insiders.
What is stopping him from bringing those people to justice?
But you see, because there's an insider doesn't necessarily translate that you know the insider. For instance, when the army facility in Maiduguri was stormed a few weeks ago, the chief of army staff said, everybody said it, that these are the hallmarks of an inside job. But you cannot hold on to one person that you did it. So you cannot take, charge anyone to court.
Doctor, is it not recklessness for public officials to start claiming they know terrorists or they have an idea who the terrorists are, and they're not bringing them to justice?
It's just shameful. In fact, it's just shameful for government officials, top people in government, to make these claims and they're not addressing it. That's my problem with Nigeria and Nigerian government. You claim you know something, you express it public to the international world, and you're not doing anything about it. And you are making excuses. And the funny thing is, people are making excuses for them as well.
Okay, I've got Tony. Tony, good evening. Hello, good evening, Tony.
Hello, good evening, Kevin.
Yeah, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to quickly contribute to this program. I think people like you, KO, are one of the major problems.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's people like Kayode Ogunamisi.
Yeah,
one of
exactly.
Okay.
Because I believe that you guys are not actually helping the president to achieve anything. The reason why I said this is very simple. I've been following you on Twitter. I've been following you on Facebook.
Yeah.
About a few weeks ago, you went to Nigeria.
Oh, God, please. Hello?
Okay.
Oh, please, Tony, we want you to call back because this is very important.
I hope he won't say it's a conspiracy.
Because I don't want you to now say it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy.
I can tell you.
And I want my producer, please, we have to get Tony's view back because he's made a very important allegation and would want to hear his reasons for it. Tony, please make sure you call back. Now, is it not true? Is it not true that people like us are causing problem.
Kayode, I would say people who always run Nigeria down negatively are causing problem, not just for Jonathan and his administration, but to me too, they're causing me problem because part of my job is to bring investors and friends of Nigeria to Nigeria.
In what way are we causing problem for Nigeria?
Well, you're causing problem to me because when your headline reads negative, people who I'm trying to converse to come to Nigeria to add value to Nigeria.
So you don't want us to report that Boko Haram has killed 3,000 people in 3 years under Jonathan?
If you have your facts.
You don't want us to say 1.6 trillion naira has been gone missing under Jonathan?
If you have your facts,
the
please
facts
do
are
say
there.
so.
You don't want us to say the World Bank has confirmed that over 110 million Nigerians are destitute.
Is that all what we can report about Nigeria? Is that all we can report about
we
Nigeria?
have to end the show now. My producer is going crazy. Thanks, guys, for coming on this program. See you next week, Thursday. It's been a fantastic show tonight.
We are waiting.
This is Free Voice Radio, the voice of the diaspora, your #1 online global radio for free voice, for listener-centered programs like Free Voice Breakfast Talk, News Flash, Make That Move Now, Kilon Shele, Feminine Matters, Bring for Change, and many more. You can listen and watch live on www.freevoiceradio.com or call live on Free Voice Radio. Keep it locked.